Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Drew, and I want to welcome you back to Learn How to See Better. And in this podcast episode, we're going to talk about checkpoints along the way. What do I mean by that? We're talking about the checkpoints along the way that you have when you're out there goal setting, when you're out there climbing the mountain, when you're trying to achieve your goals and objectives in life. And if you're just now tuning in, over the last several episodes, I've been just pouring it on thick, laying it out there with respect to how someone can go about putting an organizational framework or format around how to put together a life vision. And it's basic and it's simple, but it's so easy to do. So many people will figure that it's easy not to do as well. And I encourage anyone that sounds like that might be something you're interested in. Definitely run it back a few episodes and tune into some of those, because I start to go into not just who you have to really make sure you're clear about at your core. What are you clear about, or what are some of the things that you're clear on at your core? And then making sure you're clear on your outlook and your vision, and preparing yourself to dream big, to think ahead, and to really start to say, hey, what is possible for me if I take the limiting beliefs out of the equation, if I take the stinking thinking out of the mix? What are some of the things that I can possess, can achieve, can attract into my world? And so, I walked through it all, from the long range planning to making it short range, and how you kind of draw those things in closer to you little by little. And now you get to the point where it all comes down to the point where you're within a year of getting to certain goals and accomplishments that are going to still stretch you, but you've got to have those checkpoints along the way just to make sure that you're on the right track. And whether you call them milestones, checkpoints, whether you refer to it as a scorecard or a point system, just having some sort of way where you're saying, okay, when I'm looking at my day, when I'm looking at my week, when I'm looking at this month, what are those boxes I need to check off to help indicate to me whether or not I'm on track or off track, right? I mean, if you're trying to get to a point where you can compete in a marathon, it's like, okay, did I run a few times this week? Yes or no? And it gets to be so simple when you break it down like that. And the last episode was talking about how to eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? Well, even then, you just have to make sure that, okay, I'm not focused on the whole elephant right now. I'm focused on the arm. I'm focused on the leg, and I'm just working on this piece of the equation at the current moment, and not looking at the grandiose landscape of it all. And as long as you can, at the end of the day or at the end of the week, say, hey, did I take a couple of bites this day? Did I take a couple of bites this week? Then you're progressing toward your goals. You're progressing forward toward your goals. And that's, a lot of times how you actually define success is the constant movement towards a worthy objective. It's just the movement towards it. It's that progress, right? It's not necessarily whether you achieve the thing or not. So you want to have those checkpoints, right? I mean, let's bring it all full circle. I mean, you think about the variety of checkpoints you can have, whether they're in with a relationship when it's growing. You want to make sure, if you're on a road to recovery from a damaged relationship, okay, are we moving the right direction? Are we healing? Are we getting past some of these the old issues or old challenges that we've dealt with in the past? So checkpoints are critical when you want to look at how you're measuring your progress and whether or not you're on track or off track. And they can just be a useful way to get feedback, right? Case in point, this podcast, right? I love checkpoints in with you all, the audience, along the way. Is this on track with what you were expecting to get? Are you actually learning how to see better? Do you feel the knowledge and the insight that I'm sharing and freely donating to you is helping you to have some sort of aha moment? Are you having those wake up calls, those epiphanies, those light bulbs popping off in your head that say, "Wow, I never looked at it that way. Something new just dawned on me." That's really part of the goal and objective of this all. So many of the nuggets of wisdom that have been given to me, that I've been blessed with, A lot of them I did have to pay for, but a few of them I was blessed with, where someone was able to just share positive information. I thought, wow, if there's some way that I can contribute some of that back into the world, I'm doing my part. But I still want my checkpoints, right? So, leave the comments, drop in a question, let me know. Is this something that you're in tune with, right? Is there something I can do to serve you all at a higher level and deliver on, right? I'm really looking to open up some of the content on this podcast and make sure I'm really touching those different areas. Um, what I what I look at is overall health. Health is wealth, health is happiness, health is relationships, and all of those things. So that's one thing that I want to make sure that I deliver by sharing my life's lessons from the things I've picked up in the past and the things I'm learning present day to add value to the lives of others at no expense but the time invested to tune in. How cool is that? So I would love to get some of that feedback, checkpoints along the way, because we're going to start taking this thing some different directions. I want to again expand the landscape of the content being discussed, because there's so many different specific areas that I've drilled down into in my life that I've learned lots more about, and they've specifically affected some of my outcome and results. And so I don't want to keep things too limited in scope, too limited in perspective, but it's obviously those checkpoints that help give me some of that feedback for guidance. So that's what I'm here for and looking to do. And I think that when we talk about checkpoints, back to just the standpoint of goals, they can be one of the biggest confidence builders along the way, because if you're diligently marking a set of check marks along the way to plot your progress, you are going to be able to detect the progress in your own work. I remember, forever ago when I first started working out, and to have a workout journal was one of the utmost, pieces of necessity that you had to have, because when you're at the beginning of your journey and you can barely lift the weight up, okay, I lifted it 3 times. It's a big deal to say I lifted the thing 5 times or 10 times, right? And then 10 times, 3 times over. So you wanted to be able to track those wins, because every time you're able to do that and document, you are essentially cementing in progress, a commitment achieved for yourself. And it's those compound commitments that you make and keep that are going to start to accelerate the building of confidence in your own world. I mean, your confidence can be torn down in a minute. The more you start to make and break promises with yourself, right? If you want confidence, you got to be able to confide, to trust, right? And to have confidence in yourself, you have to be able to trust in yourself and know the things that you commit to, know the things that you declare as truth are in fact that, and that your word is bond, and that you stand by that word. So that's another way that you can again use checkpoints to not only build confidence, because they're concrete evidence of your commitment. And that's what you want to be able to capture through this documentation process. And that's something I think that can be used to fuel us, especially times when we're down. Because when we go through the process of growing, no different than going through a workout. Start of the workout, you're full of energy. By the end of a couple hours, you're dragging out of there struggling. But you'll live to be able to lift another day. You'll live to be able to fight another day. It's just a matter of how you choose to keep that progress going, and how you choose to document as well as checkpoint what are the key metrics associated with what you're doing. If you're trying to do something as simple as make some health changes, right? Are you eating the things that make sense for you to consume? Are you consuming the things that make sense for you to consume? Are you getting the level of physical activity that makes sense for you to start to take on? Are you getting the right levels of sleep? Do you have the right support structure in place with regards to physical and emotional support from other individuals? So there are multiple pieces of that equation, but you got to have those checkpoints, and just say, hey, did I have healthy thoughts today or not? Isn't going to cut it in the big scheme of things when you have to look at the overall picture. So those are some of the ways that you can look at how to use checkpoints in your goal setting and goal getting process to really start to propel you towards those goals and objectives. It's really saying, okay, what are those things that I need to know that I'm crisp on, that I'm solid, I've executed on and done what I've said I'm going to do, that are going to position you for success. So, taking the time to identify not only that you need to have checkpoints, but also what some of those checkpoints are. So if you're looking to get to a certain level, there's certain things that you need to be able to tackle each and every week so that you're making progress. So don't overlook that simple, subtle step. It's that doing. You can be all you want to be and then the attempt to have all you want to have if you're not doing the things. And in this case, the little things, the little daily military mindset level of discipline. How's the saying go? Shine shoes, save lives. So it's that discipline that keeps people, protected and well taken care of when it comes down to it. So that was one thing I thought that would be useful to share with everyone today on the importance of checkpoints, because I think that's one of these last kind of modules here as we talk about this overall blueprint for how you plan out and design that life of your dreams. You got to have the entire package all the way down to those details that you're evaluating, setting those metrics, and checking what the numbers are, because the story doesn't fit in the box, just a number. So until next time, we will keep expanding this content as promised before and talking about the next set of topics that I'll be bringing to you all. But I wanted this to marinate and soak in because, hey, if you're not living a life by design, then likely you're living a life that's built to formulate and mold into someone else's design. So I'd love to see more people out there taking charge of their life. Life's too short to be a zombie. So live it by design, take some notes from this. And as we start to rotate in this next round of topics, I can't wait to see some of your input as we enjoy these checkpoints along the way. So until next time, thanks everyone, and talk to you all soon.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.